How are you? Monday, sorry for the late video. We thought we better get one in soon as it is Monday of our auction week. Katie's behind the camera. Hello, Katie. We are behind it a wee bit this week, but we'll catch up as we always do. I say that all the time and stressed Eric and I'll take over. Because it's only a wee short video, I thought it appropriate to do it on our neighbours down the road, because they're one of the ones that I think that doesn't really get enough love and all that sort of stuff as well. I know a lot of fellas love it because it's good drinking whiskey. But another one are the Two Stacks lads. So Shane and the team down there, some of the stuff they've done is they nearly you need to tip of the hat to them, because the ABV on them in their own right is fantastic. So I mean, there's the first cut, complex blend, 43%, unique blend of grain, malt and pot still whiskies. And again, gorgeous presentation, bit of clarity on the back, 40% dark grain, 40% light grain, 8% pot still, 10% double malt, 2% peated malt. The peated malt is brilliant in these because it just, as I often say, it just rounds off the edges of a whiskey sometimes, a younger whiskey. And again, the lads are making no claim that this is 50-year-old Irish whiskey. So it's brilliant that does have the transparency on the back. It does say where it's from. Great Northern Distillery, it does indeed, absolutely. Smoke and Mirrors, Imperial Coffee finish. Another one starts climbing in ABV, that's 56%. That is gorgeous. I've tasted that myself. I really, really like that. Peated and Imperial Oatmeal Stout, cast is malt. This thing, apricot brandy cask strength, 63.7%. You have got to be in the mood for a whiskey to have a glass full of that. There is no doubt about it. It is full on cask strength whiskey and you know what you're drinking. It is really, really good. Cut it back with a wee bit of water and it does make all the difference. This again, they've got all the transparency on the back. It says 40% dark grain, yada yada yada. Again, the nice little bit of peat on it. It's not overwhelming. A lot of people wouldn't even know it was there, but you can taste it, and it's just this little bit of subtleness on the back, just softens it off. Tawny Port. Now, Katie, we do like our Tawny Ports, don't we?
We do.
We do indeed. 63.5%. Another one, a whopping whiskey. Absolutely whopper. And again, it's got the 2% peated malt on the back of it as well, just to tell you what it is. But here has been one, I think, that has been the star of the show lately. And this is the Polaris one that they brought out recently. 9-year-old single malt. It is phenomenal. 59.85 ABV. It's a red ice wine finish. Don't try not to say that with a glass full of whiskey in you. But it is gorgeous. And again, distilled on, refilled on and bottled on. All in the front. That's February 22. Again from the Two Stacks. One of the things that a lot of people don't know is that the Two Stacks name and the branding is all a throwback to Dundalk. It's all about the two stacks of the old Malcolm Brown distillery. And where did we go and see yesterday, Katie?
It's not the grave, it's a commemorative
headstone of Mr. Malcolm Brown. So Malcolm Brown owned the Malcolm Brown distillery in Dundalk, and it was this massive distillery. We've still got Distillery Lane, distillery buildings. So a lot of the buildings in Dundalk, our county museum is in the old distillery building. County library is in it. I mean, it came right up as far as St. Patrick's, and the bonded warehouses where there's a gym in one of them now, and there was another factory in it for years and years and years. It occupied a fair old site in Dundalk as well. But the chimneys were so tall that they could be used as a waypoint for seafarers navigating their way into Dundalk. So these two stacks, these two chimneys were massive. And I think it's lovely that the lads have named it the Two Stacks. And again, just a tip of the hat to our heritage and history. They're not claiming anything on the bottles. They're not claiming that it's part of their story or anything like that. But I think it's just a nice tip of the hat. Now, part of the Two Stacks party is Killowen. So Killowen and Two Stacks, there's a bit of shared ownership between them all, and the lads work very closely in conjunction with each other. Brendan, as we all know, has been producing, he's been curating with the experimental series, the 10-year-old stuff. He's been curating that for a couple of years now. But now he's got his own stuff coming out. So he's got his bulk on and the poachings and the rums and stuff like that he's distilling himself. His own whiskies now coming out as well. So it's great. He's really getting the legs down there. So he as well. For such a small little distillery, the output is ridiculous. I mean, it is ridiculous. And the range of stuff that he does. And again, it's all done hand bottled, hand labelled, wax seals. I mean, he's a grafter, Brendan is. Many a night I could be talking to him and he could be down there 10, 11 o'clock at night, maybe later, till early hours of the morning, working away, getting stuff done. So these were the recent ones, the bulk-ons. And this was Dead and Buried, 50-50, peated oats, peated barley, direct flame fire. That's just the Irish poaching one. And then you had this one, which is the Pinot Noir rested. And again, look at the difference in colour in that. Again, maximum of 10 weeks it could have been in the barrel for, and you can see the colour in it there that it's taken from the barrels itself. Pinot Noir, lovely full-bodied red wine as well. That'll give it a hell of an old woomph. Again, 67.5%, 67.9% from Bulk-On. We had the Bulk-On at the Belfast Social. Brendan was generous enough to give us a sample bottle, and we had that behind our stall below. And it's just amazing. I mean, it doesn't drink at 67%. It's really, really easy. The oats give it a real biscuity creaminess. It's just ridiculous. The peat is there, but again, it's nice and subtle. It's a delicate hand. It doesn't overpower it too much, so they're really good. This is the Dalriada one. This is part one of two, but again, this was an 11-year-old malt aged in finished in a Scotch whiskey barrel. This is rum. No, it's not rum and raisin, signature rum and raisin. So that's the American release. There's a bottle of that in this auction. That's the 375ml Diddy bottles. Again, Brendan's done that. His output isn't massive, so he's trying to put as much of the liquid in as many people's hands as possible. So that's a 375, a half bottle. And again, it's great to see him doing that. Dark rum, that's his own dark rum. And that's one of the experimental. That's the Tawny Port Northern Douro cask. So that's it. We will always have a special place for Brendan. I think what Brendan does and what he punches way above his weight. In what he produces and what he markets and the fan base that he has. He's got fans all over the world. The recent South African release proved that. There's guys buying it over there. It's gone to Australia, Taiwan. It goes literally around the world from a little cottage up in the Mourne Mountains. And I mean, he should be applauded. He really should. Two Stacks, the lads are killing it in America. They're literally, everybody talks about Two Stacks over there. The dram in the can, fantastic product. Again, on the ball with that, and it's coming out in Ireland soon, so that's going to be one to look forward to. I mean, can you imagine going around with 100ml cans and, you know, just before you get into the car in the morning to go for a drive? No, don't drink and drive. Ignore that. So that's it. We will be back tomorrow. We'll talk about probably my favourite brand, although I do have a lot lately. Teelings, I think we'll talk about them tomorrow. There's a few bottles. Katie, you'll be here standing beside me tomorrow, I assume?
Probably.
If we can find enough staff, if they're not all busy doing everything else. And then we'll be back tomorrow and we'll talk about it. Alright? Cheers, lads. Good luck.